Welcome back, big fella. Today we have a new setup. Pretty obvious. We're in a completely new area, still in the same apartment location. Ashley and I decided to switch offices, so that's fresh and new and funky. So we're rocking a new computer setup, way better. I like it a ton more. We're in a different area. Actually, fun fact, the quilt behind me was stitched by Ashley, made all by hand when we first met. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, one more thing before we dive into it today. I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who purchased a Big Fella hoodie. You guys are freaking awesome. The demand on these bad boys was way higher than I ever could have anticipated. So thank you so much. If you do want one and you haven't already purchased one, drop it in the comments asking for it. I can send you the link to add you to the wait list. We are likely going to restock eventually because I was not expecting the reception that these got. So thank you seriously so much. Today, we are talking about burnout. We're talking about an overwhelmingly increasing problem, especially in America, burnout. And more specifically, fitness burnout, but the lessons that I'm going to teach and speak on today are going to be applicable to just about anybody going through any sort of burnout. Burnout's kind of the same thing. It manifests in very similar ways, no matter where it's being sourced from. Some people get burnout from their families, or their work, or their fitness journey, or their own head. It's all anxiousness in their own head. Usually it's a combination of everything. And we're going to talk about the role that fitness plays within burnout when you have a long hour requirement job, when you have family that needs you, when you have random stuff popping up like car troubles or additions being built on your house and construction or whatever the case might be. Burnout is a culmination of... Burnout doesn't come from working hard. Burnout comes from working hard, not seeing any results, right? Burnout comes from chasing your tail off and busting your ass and just feeling like you are stuck in the mud. Short term, it's fine. But if you feel like that for months on end, where you are just working all day and all night, no time for rest, and you feel like you are in the same spot you were in 3 months ago, that's what burnout feels like. And there's different stages of burnout, okay? I'm just talking about some of the warning signs today. Because if those of you, including me, I'm in this category, who have experienced true burnout knows that there are different levels to it. When you really hit it, you hit it. And there's nothing else you can do but chill. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about today. There is a difference between working hard, but what separates the people from working hard and burning yourself out is how you're viewing your progress. Now, speaking within the lens of fitness, how do you think you're viewing your progress? Are you only looking at the scale? A lot of people that I talk to nowadays are only looking at the scale nowadays. It's been permanent. It's like that forever. Ever since the weight scale was invented, people have been doing that. It's never been right. Not to say the scales aren't right, but there's way better ways to track the progress because ultimately you don't care about the number on the scale. You care about the feeling and how you look and how you feel. The scale is just a middleman. And when you've been feeling this way for weeks and then months on end, it starts to create this feeling of numbness. When you go long enough into a weight loss journey or throwing on the stresses of work and family and whatever else might be stressing you out, your relationships maybe, it creates this feeling of numbness. People who are burnt out or on the verge of burnt out are numb. They don't need extra motivation. They don't need a new workout routine. They don't need a donut. They need rest. They need change, and they need to see that the plan that they're working on and the stuff that they're doing is actually moving them forward somehow. And this is why I scream from the absolute rooftops every single week to track your progress in ways separate from the scale. The scale will always be there. But track your progress in other ways and learn how to celebrate those wins. That is how you prevent burnout. You can work your tail off and also see progress, and that's when work feels good, when you know you're progressing for something. My dog's about to hack. Okay, false alarm. Anybody with really, really, really old dogs can feel can resonate. So let's talk about the 4 steps I used to get over burnout. For those of you that don't know, burnout's one of the things that I battle with the most. I have realized over these past couple of years of running the Big Fella brand that I am my own worst enemy a lot of the time. I get in my own way, I overload myself, and I have a hard time delegating. And I'm working on it. But I throw a lot of work on my plate. A lot of work on my plate. And I've been burnt out from weight loss. I've been burnt out from the gym. I've been burnt out from work. I've been burnt out from just overthinking. It's, like I said, it's a combination of everything. It's rarely just one thing. But here are the 4 steps that I use to get past burnout, to heal from burnout, or to avoid a worse burnout. Because that's the thing. There's different stages where you can kind of just dig your hole even deeper if you keep going. But if you can stop yourself and climb out of that hole, it's obviously going to be much better for you in the long run. Number 1, you cannot outwork an unhealthy mind. You cannot outwork burnout. Okay? Work is what got you here. Rest must be the first antidote. It must be. You cannot work through the pain. You are only going to dig your hole deeper. And by rest, this can mean a lot of different things. Preferably, it means actual freaking rest. Sleeping, taking a weekend off, taking a day off of work if that's a possibility for you. And really refocusing. Because if you're burnt out, clearly what you were working on isn't working. Clearly what you were spending all of your time and energy on, something needs to be changed. Clearly there's a change that's needed. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been burnt out. Maybe that change is approaching it from a new angle, working with different people, changing your environment, or working on something else entirely. I just had a conversation recently with one of my clients. Her name is Shaylin. Shaylin is down 30 pounds in 25 weeks. That's what it is. 30 pounds in 25 weeks. And I told her, you have done a tremendous job. And recently she's been going through a lot of stress. There's a bunch of life stuff, nothing too insane, just dealing with a lot of annoyances with work and life and house stuff and everything else. Shaylin's an incredibly hard worker, and she's been busting her butt to make ends meet and hit these goals on the weight loss journey and support her family and do what she needs to do. And I told her on our last call yesterday, my number 1 goal for you right now that you're down 30 pounds is to A, celebrate your wins, realize what you've been able to do. Because what you've been able to do with the amount of stress that you've been under is incredible and a win that deserves to be celebrated. And then the second thing I said was take something off of your plate. Clearly something in this equation is not working because you are inches away from burning out and fizzling out every day. You have to take something off of your plate. Number 2, pick one skill or one problem to hyper-focus on. This is much easier said than done, especially when you want to try to get it all done all at once. Ultimately, though, there's usually one core problem that can make every other problem easier once it's solved. For weight loss, it's calories. If you are trying to go to the gym, if you are trying to get up and do your cardio, hit your 10,000 steps, track your calories, hit your protein goal, drink a gallon of water a day, hit your step goal, make sure you get your micronutrients, drink your greens, you're probably not going to stick to it for more than a couple weeks. It's usually not a laziness issue either. This usually, very rarely is it an actual laziness issue. It's a lack of seeing results and a lack of a simple enough plan to stick to long term. So to simplify, we pick one core issue and solve that first. When somebody steps into my program, I say, hey, here's how it's going to go. Weight loss is a complex thing. We're going to break it down into a bunch of redundantly easy steps to where you do them one at a time like dominoes knocking each other over. Let's get good at one thing. Let's get really good at one skill and master that, and then move on to the next thing, and then move on to the next thing, focusing on one at a time to where it's a no-brainer, you know how to do it. Does it take longer? Yeah. Yeah, it does. But my clients lose their weight and keep their weight off. And they do it without stress. Not obviously there's stress in their lives, but I'm saying they do it without making the weight loss journey itself stressful. That's what I can do for people is I make their journeys simplified, and there is no food noise. There is no stress. And if there is food noise, we address it and we tackle it head on. So if you're feeling burnt out on a weight loss journey, start doing less. Focus on the highest leverage things. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's calories. Being in a calorie deficit, what's the easiest way you can hit your calorie goal every day? How can you make it more convenient for you? That's the number one thing that I would address. How can you keep yourself full enough? How can you make the calories a no-brainer? How can you fit the fun food in on a regular basis so you don't burn out? And this obviously these skills can apply to other facets in life too, right? The rest thing stays the same. Picking another skill to hyper-focus on though. Let's say you're burnt out in your work. Your job's just railing you with hours and you have no idea where to go. You don't know what to do. You feel like you can't ask for help. First, carve out moments of rest. You might feel like there may not be an option. There is. There are pockets of time. Your rest and your mental and physical health is more important than a job. And one day can be carved out. No exceptions. You matter. You matter. Then look at, I'm starting to work with a few other people now that aren't necessarily asking for weight loss help. They're more so just asking for general mentorship. So that's been a lot of fun, and that will probably turn into something much larger. So if you are looking for a bit more of just like a wider scope of help, but you want me to work with you, shoot me a DM on Instagram because that's been really fun. I was working with a gentleman named John this past week, and he's dealing with what I just said with work. Work is kicking his ass. He is underwater. He knows he has way too much on his plate, and he's losing time with his kids. The whole point of the job is to provide for his family so his kids can have what they want and have a good life, and he can be there for his kids. But now he doesn't have any time for his kids because he's working so much. And one thing I said to John was, what can be delegated, what can be eliminated, and what can we change? Now, if you are not like John, where you don't have that kind of control in your work schedule, that's completely understandable, right? Most people don't. But there is a way to still take a time audit. How are you spending your time? How are you spending your time before? How are you spending your time after? How are you getting ready for work? What are you doing once you're at work? There's usually pockets of time getting wasted that can be spent on rest or just more efficiently. Number 3, price mistakes in. You're a human. Newsflash. You wouldn't be listening to this YouTube video if you weren't human and you hadn't made mistakes in the past. I've made probably about 15 mistakes today. It's hard. A lot of the stuff that I'm talking about, I struggle with. I'm dead serious. My biggest flaw is I throw way too much on my own plate, and it lowers the quality of everything I do. And I'm working on it mentally. It's something I really have to get around. And I'm seeing progress. I am, for real. It's been a long journey, though. But I understand the mistakes. I understand that there will be mistakes made. I have no problem with that. That took me a while to understand first. You have to price the mistakes in. So if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to build muscle, there's going to be days where you miss the gym. There's going to be days where you overeat. There's going to be days where you stress eat. There's going to be days where your friends invite you out last minute. You go to the bar, you drink a little too much, you eat a little too much, you feel like crap the next day. Guess what? You're human. Congratulations. You have to be able to price that stuff in. You also have to be able to walk forward with no guilt. Be prepared for those moments to happen. Don't make excuses. Don't let them happen all the time, right? We want to learn from our mistakes, but expecting perfection is guaranteeing disappointment. And the core of burnout is thinking you can do it all perfectly, and then getting frustrated at yourself when you can't, which worsens the burnout issue entirely, because now you're tired, you're overworked, and you're frustrated at yourself. How far did that get you? Then finally, tracking progress the right way. This one's huge. I've already touched on this a little bit. If you're trying to lose weight, the scale is a middleman. The scale is a middleman who ultimately is just there to track some tangible numbers. A lot of my audience is guys. We're monkeys. We're just apes with a little bit smarter brains. We like seeing lines go up. We like seeing number go up or number go down. So I understand why the scale is such an impactful thing. I used to let the scale used to control my life. My entire day, my mood for the entire day was dictated by what the number said on the scale in the morning. Every time. Everything else in my life could have been going perfectly. If I had a bad weigh-in, chalk it, dude. Chalk it. Don't let that happen. Do not let the external factors carry that much weight in your head. When it comes to tracking progress, what I recommend is cutting out the middleman and cutting out the distractions. The scale is a middleman. It is to make sure you're moving in the direction that you want to. The distractions are anything that takes you away from your core journey and moves you, anything that isn't the direct daily non-negotiable that attaches you to your goals. You have the long-term goal that's broken down into a short-term goal. The short-term goal is broken down into daily actions. If it's not one of those daily actions, it's a freaking distraction. So cut the distractions out. The people you see on social media throwing all these different supplements around, or semaglutide, GLP-1 medications, or anything else, those are all distractions. And if you're here because you want to lose some weight, here are the 3 best ways to track your progress that doesn't involve the scale. Number 1, weighing in once per week. Cannot stress this enough. Stop weighing yourself every day. You are driving yourself insane. The scale measures everything in your body. Your body is just a pile of flesh. It sounds gross when you say it. I understand. I get a little uncomfortable when I say it too. It's not just body fat that it's measuring. There's glycogen stores. There's inflammation. There's food in your GI tract right now. There's tons of water weight that fluctuates 1 to 5 pounds, probably more. I haven't checked the data recently. I'm pretty sure there was actually a study that came out that it's actually closer to like 7 or 8 pounds. Point is, you could be absolutely perfect for 7 days straight and the scale can go up. You still burnt body fat, but you wouldn't know that if your only measurement was the scale. So weigh in only once per week and look for the long-term downtrend. Number 2, monthly progress photos. Take them monthly. Weekly, I think personally, unless you're trying to be a bodybuilder, is a little bit too often. It's a little bit too often because there's a lot more short-term effects. It's the same thing with the scale. We want to see a long-term trend. We want to see those arms, the flabby arms shrink. We want to see the chest around the fat around your chest shrink. We want to see the belly fat shrink. We want to see the legs shrink a little bit. We want the muscle to start popping out a little bit more. We want to see a little bit more veins in your hands, your arms, your legs, right? We want to see more definition in your collarbone and in your neck and your shoulders. That's what we're looking for. And monthly progress pictures allow that to happen a little bit easier. Then finally, monthly measurements. This is something that I didn't do enough on my personal journey, but I think it's always a good idea. Grab an old-fashioned tape measure. Measure your arms, your legs, your bust, which is your chest, your hips, your stomach. These are really easy ways to see if you're actually losing inches. And it can be a little discouraging when you say, oh, the scale's only gone down 10 pounds in the last 6 months. That's not very good. But then you see when you've measured yourself at once a month, like, oh, I've actually lost a total of 15 inches. That's pretty insane, right? 15 inches sounds way better than just 10 pounds. And that's the thing. Like, the scale is convincing you that you're doing worse than you really are. Now, it's an objective tool. It's not like it's purposely lying to you. It's just your brain will play tricks on itself. That's really all that happens. That's really all that happens. But this also, like I said, this stuff can apply. Tracking progress the right way. If you are trying to start your own business or a little side hustle, or post on social media more. Track progress the right way. Oh, your video didn't get a lot of views. Okay, that's fine. It's not views. Oh, you didn't close any deals this week. Okay. What else did you do? Track the stuff that you control. Okay. If I didn't get any views, how many videos did I post? How much time did I spend editing? If I didn't close any sales, how many people did I reach out to? Track the process and the progress. Because what you're doing is you're working hard and you're just expecting this progress to get handed to you. Your mind's not in the right place. You got to be able to work hard, but focus on the process and celebrate the process. The process is what gets you to the progress. So celebrate the fact that you hit your steps 5 days in a row. Celebrate the fact that you went to the gym every day this week. Celebrate the fact that you hit your calories for 2 weeks straight. Now, maybe don't celebrate with 7,000 calories of food, right? Have some fun. But being able to recognize those as true, actual wins is what separates the people that see actual success and keep it off, and the people that get stuck in the same place over and over again. The long-term trend is what ultimately what matters. And you have to be able to see the progress in the long term. Because in the short term, seeing it is very difficult. It's really hard. It's really hard to wake up when you think you're doing everything right and you look in the mirror and you feel like you've gotten bigger. It's a lot harder. So it's about understanding and being 100% clear on where you want to go and why you want to go there. We've talked about that already on other episodes. But making sure you have enough systems in place to track the progress of what truly matters. Don't get distracted. Cut out the middleman. Track the progress that truly matters so you can actually make sure you're moving in the right direction to avoid burnout. Because if you keep working hard, you keep busting your ass and not seeing any progress, it's probably your fault. And guess what? By probably, I mean it is your fault. You have to take 100% maximum accountability for every single problem that you are facing right now. Even if you don't truly feel like it is, you have to say, this is on me. I put myself in the situation at the end of the day. Guess what? It's my fault for all the problems that I'm facing because I have control over them. It's my fault that I overload myself. It's my fault that I got burnt out. Sorry, something fell over there. We're good. I'm actually done. That's about it anyway. So I think that's a sign to wrap things up. Anyway, thank you for listening. 23 minutes of yappage. I think this is a good one, though. I had a lot of fun. I was stimming with this. This is one of those wrappers. I don't know if you can see it on camera. It's one of those wrappers that hold the bread together, the little plastic twisties. Been stimming with it. I think it made me talk better, to be honest. Anyway, if you are looking for someone who has been where you are, who can help you with your weight loss and your self-improvement journey, or if you're just looking for someone to talk to, be a mentor, give advice, shoot me a DM, shoot me a message, and we'll see what we can do. I love you guys. I seriously, the support lately has been absolutely ridiculous. The amount of people that have messaged me about the shirts and the amount of people that have been interacting on like my stories and my emails and everything. We've signed a lot of new clients recently. Like I just am so grateful. I'm so grateful. I feel like we're really hitting a beautiful stride here with the Big Fella brand, and I feel like this is what I was meant to be doing. I'm falling into place a little bit more. I was a little concerned, to be honest, to be completely transparent with you, for anybody still listening. I was very worried about how talking about more mental health stuff would affect my audience and how it would affect my growth, how it would affect my company, my revenue. Not like that's everything, but it's a factor. And it's been an adjustment, but I gotta say I'm pretty happy with how it's gone so far, and I feel like I have a better long-term vision that I've had in a very long time, and I'm much more self-aware of my shortcomings. which is fantastic. So thank you for that. Nobody's got to figure it out. Just remember that. Nobody's got to figure it out. But I got this stuff figured out pretty damn well. And I hope today helped, because I see so many of you working your asses off, and you deserve all the progress you're working hard for. You really do. I'm so sick of seeing people bust their ass, work every day, day in and day out, and just not see any sort of results. Start tracking your progress better. Price the mistakes in. Pick one thing to hyper focus on. Cut the rest temporarily. If you have any other questions, drop them in the comments. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I love you to death. Keep it simple, big fella.